YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to continue on with this old house, making it beautiful again. You know what I mean? So this is the last room I need to get to before we can jump into the bathroom. I've been starting with the cheaper stuff because, you know, I've had tenant issues for the last several months, which it looks like there is an end in sight, and I'll fill you in on that in 1 minute. But yeah, we're gonna try to do a smooth plastered finish in here. You know, scrape the windows down, recaulk them, get rid of the phone wires, just, you know, make it nice looking again. And then as soon as this is done, while I'm working in here, I'm gonna start buying materials and staging it for the bathroom. This project is going to be really fun because we're going deep. It's not like those rooms where we're just mudding the walls a little bit and painting it. This room, we're going deep because you see the ceiling. The ceiling is collapsing in by itself. There's no bathroom switch. So I want to run a wire and have a switch out here for the bathroom. The plumbing needs to be updated. There's no vents. They never vented anything, so all of the drains in here are extremely slow. So I want to somehow sneak a vent over into the kitchen wall so that when we do the kitchen I can connect onto it. And I want to vent everything in here. Hopefully the stack is in that closet, so we should be able to tie into that stack. And I might even cut that stack out and replace all that cast iron from there through the roof. I mean, might as well, right? While we're here, we'll at least take a look at it and see if it's how bad it is. You know, we need a new shower valve, we need to put a new drain on, we need to pick out tiles. I'm gonna build my own vanity versus buying one because we can make it really cool, and it doesn't have this you see this, it's MDF with a plastic film over it. It's not even painted, it's just like a film that as soon as it gets wet it just swells and it's garbage. So we're gonna make some tenant proof design that looks nice, you know, maybe a wooden top with an undermount sink, some kind of faucet. Yeah, we're gonna make it nice in there, really nice. So I will be acquiring stuff for that and staging it, you know, getting ready. But yeah, anyways, on the tenant front, you know, the first rolled around again, and I'm like, dude, what's going on now? It's like, oh, the lawyer's still waiting on the checks. I'm like, dude, it's been too many weeks waiting on checks. Like, this is getting ridiculous already. Like, the mortgage company doesn't wait, you know. So like, you need to figure something out, because I don't even know if this trust actually exists. You know what I mean? I was just told that his kid's grandfather died and left behind a substantial sum of money to the tune of $18,000. And it's in a trust, but it's for the kid when he turns 18. But basically, the lawyer says it can be used for back rent. But I didn't know if the lawyer was actually a lawyer, if the money actually existed. I've never been sent proof, you know what I mean? So I was like, dude, if I don't get some proof and a date, I want a date, and no later. I want a date of when I am going to be paid, or I am going to call my lawyer and pay him right now, and he's going to start the process. And once it's started, and you want to stay, you have to go and pay all those court and lawyer costs on top of everything else. So you're going to be throwing more money out the window. And finally, I get a screenshot from the lawyer. From the bank. So it's a TD Bank is the one that's holding the trust. So she went online and had TD Bank draft up a check, and they're gonna have it mailed directly to my house, and it shows right on the thing. It has a date, delivered by this date. and it will catch him up in full. I mean, it's gonna be a pretty big check. So you guys wanted an update on my my heat source here. So this is just my heat and my cooking. It's not, my hot water is electric. So I got the data for you guys. There it is. My usage really spiked up in November because it's been cold out. I used $6.21 of gas and $23 for delivery. So roughly 30 bucks for the month. Not too bad. And that's kind of the advantage of this one-bedroom apartment, is it's extremely cheap to live up here. And this thing is way oversized, I tell you that, because I go to like 2.5 usually, especially during the day, you know, because Duke doesn't like to be cold. And then at night when it gets really, really cold, I might put it to like 3. And it's like freaking Southwest Florida up here. Like sweating balls, man. And this thing goes to like 10. So I think this is way oversized for this kind of place here. All right, so I got everything out that I can get out. This stuff's gonna have to stay. Covered the couch. This ceiling is new drywall. So we're looking good in this area. Not too much to worry about. Besides, over here by the window, there's a little flakage. So we'll take care of that. I did say I wanted to go smooth, and I still do. I just think too much texture is too much. But this is pretty rough in here. Like you can see things everywhere. It just looks horrendous. So we're still going to attempt smooth. Yeah, you see all that stuff? You see that? There's a hole. There's a phone line there that doesn't go to anything. So I'm gonna dig out that phone line right now. And yeah, this is horsehair plaster here. And then you can see they put a piece of trim to cap off from ceiling to ceiling. That's fine, it just needs to be caulked in. Yeah, you can see gaps and stuff, so we'll caulk it all in. We'll have to make a piece of trim or something to kind of cap this window off, because there's a void up here. There's a big, yeah, so we'll make a piece of wood trim or something to kind of cap that off nice. We can caulk that in. Yeah, I might put a little 45 or 90-minute mud up in here and then caulk over that as well. It's an old house. It just needs to look nice. That's all, you know. So here's the thing, guys. We just ran into a big problem, and I never even mentioned this in the last video. But if you know how horsehair plaster works, you know, you have your vertical studs going up, right? Then you have these little wood battens, laths, that get nailed going across the studs. And they leave a little gap in between each lath. And basically they take this horsehair and cement and plaster mixture and they force it through those little cracks. And with gravity, once the mud is pushed through the crack, gravity kind of hooks it on its own, and it kind of hooks around that piece of wood and really gets a bite, you know what I mean? And then they just kind of paint over it, and there's your wall. So this is the first thing I do with a horsehair plaster wall, is I like to go around with my hands like this with my fingers and just push on the wall. Just give it a push and listen. Do you hear crunching? Do you see it moving? If not, then you should be good to go. You can probably skim coat your walls, fix it, repaint it, and you'll get a lot more time out of it. But if you have any movement, oh yeah, this is moving quite a bit, and I can hear crunching if I push hard enough. So this whole section right here has undone itself from the lath, and the only thing that's holding that in place is the paint. Yeah, sounds crazy, right? So I don't think that's a good idea to leave that. I mean, if we're gonna fix the room, let's fix the room, you know what I mean? to the best of our ability with what we have. So I'm gonna carefully dig this out and get rid of this cancer. And then we'll mix up a batch of mud and do what they did, right? Force it through the laths. And yeah, hopefully. So this is the second time I've ever attempted to do something like this. You know what I mean? Usually we just rip it out, but I really don't want that kind of dust in my house right now. So, you know, I took off the really bad stuff, and it seems like you could just go on forever, because the more you pull on this, you start loosening up more lath or more plaster. So I did the really bad stuff, found why, because this board came undone. So I screwed that back in. And now basically, you know, I'm going around pushing on it gently, seeing wherever it's moving. I can see where the laths are now, so I know where I can put a screw. So I'm trying to screw this plaster to the laths to hold it tight. But you have to be extremely careful putting these screws in, because it'll just break this stuff. It's so brittle. So I put the drill in reverse first, and I spin it really fast until you feel it poke through the horsehair plaster, and then I put it on forward. That's close. It started to crack a little bit, but you got to be extremely careful. Yeah, you tighten it very slow. Oh yeah, dude, that looks and feels 100 times better already. All right, let's see. I wonder if you could countersink. I wonder if that would work. I mean, it's gonna destroy the countersink, but it might work. Let's see, we need to be right here. There we go. Now I have a countersunk hole. Now, I feel like the painted layer is like a hard crust. You know what I mean? And then under that hard crust is mush. So the screw pulling into mush doesn't really pull too well, but if you pull, just gently pull on that hard crust. Yeah. That's my theory. All right, mixed up some mud, grabbed some tape. I think it would be smart to try to infuse a bit of this tape in there somewhere. I mixed the mud a little drier than I normally would have. Just a little stiffer. So I'm just trying to force it in between the laths right now. Just get it started. So as you guys saw, I put the, I pushed some through the laths first. Then I took some of the blue joint tape and put it like underneath this layer of tape, right at the lath, and kind of did that. And then, skim coated and got it as flat as I could with the Easy Sand 90. And then I gently, very, very gently, put this secondary layer of tape over everything. So this goes from, because I'm afraid the joint between the new mud and the horsehair plaster will crack. So I went onto the horsehair plaster, across our mud job, and back onto horsehair plaster. So this will probably take days to dry. So I'm gonna bring the heater, plug it in, stick it right next to this, let it bake. And we really gotta wait for that to be 100% dry before we put the second coat. So this mudding stuff is an art form, for sure. I know there's people out there that can put an 1/8 of an inch or less, kind of smooth out a wall, and it looks beautiful. It needs minimal sanding, right? And it's nice. That's not me. So I'm trying to let the trowel do the work here. I kind of just spread it on like peanut butter all across the wall, just covered every square inch. And I just took this wide putty knife, and I'm kind of letting the putty knife do the work, right? Because you can see all the little, can you see all the little battle scars, the little nicks and stuff? So as you wipe it on the wall, I don't have much mud on this right now, but as you wipe it on the wall, you can clearly tell where the high spots are, is all the gray areas, and all the low spots are all the white areas. So hopefully with a quick sanding and maybe a touch-up coat, that should get us close enough. Anyway, it'll at least look better than battle scars, you know what I mean? What are you doing to my paintbrush? Alright, there it is, guys. First coated everything. The ceiling didn't need too much, minimal mud. And I have been looking at you guys' suggestions in the comments, and I thought about it, you know what I mean? And some of your suggestions have actually been done over in the 3-bedroom, which we will eventually be over there and look at it. And that's what she kind of did. She got like a thin panel, like 1/4 inch MDF panel that looks like whatever, has a design to it. And she kind of just stuck it on the walls. The problem is the horsehair plaster. I don't know if she checked it. I don't know what's under there. How bad was it that she just glued something onto horsehair plaster? Did she take the time and go through and locate the studs and nail through the horsehair plaster into the studs? I doubt it. So I feel like whatever she did over there is really superficial just to look good so she could rent it out, and didn't actually care if it lasted, you know? And I think she was doing this stuff to sell the place to some sucker. But, you know, I'm trying to at least make sure that it's going to last a little while, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, this stuff's been here for how long? And if it's still all adhered to the lath and it's still nailed to the studs, it should last. That's why I went around and checked it with my hands, make sure everything still had adhesion. I mean, that's the biggest thing in construction and this kind of stuff is adhesion, adhesion, adhesion. You want it to be strong. You know what I mean? It's got to be strong. You can't put silicone because it all cracks, man. It's too soft and it doesn't stick. So we're using the skills that we got, using the knowledge that we have, and we're doing our best. And yeah, we could do a panel, but see, in this apartment anyway, like every room's different. Like in here, this is horsehair plaster. It looks like drywall because, you know, we did a nice job with it. And you can see the baseboard. See how far it sticks out there? But right there, it doesn't stick out very much. And then here, yeah, see, we don't have much reveal left on the baseboard because with horsehair plaster, the baseboard goes on first and they lath and plaster down onto it. So if I added like another 1/4 inch on top of this, it would stick out past the baseboard there. So I feel like with not a lot of money and the weather being crappy outside right now, that this was the best option for now, you know, at least for these 3 rooms. When we get to the bathroom and kitchen, I am going to studs because it needs to be done. Well guys, here's the disadvantage to the old bucket o' mud, is it takes a little bit longer to dry because I did this Sunday. It is now Monday after work and I'm seeing wet spots. I should have stuck the heater in here and I didn't. So if I'm seeing wet spots, I'm just gonna let it, yeah, I'm not gonna sand whatever looks dry because you might be wet underneath and then the sanding sponge clogs up. So whatever, you know what I mean? It needs another day. So I figure I'm gonna jump onto this trim and start scraping. Baseboard needs a little bit of scraping. Window needs some scraping. Alright, I'm going to show you guys something crazy, right? This is a normal paint scraper you get from Home Depot. It's got like 4 blades on it. You keep flipping around, has a burr. You can hear it. I can feel the burr there. Okay, barely works, right? Alright, here's what a sharp chisel does. Dude, are you kidding me? Alright guys, well I did another lead test just to be sure. I was getting no lead detected again. But I am still going to take the paint scraper now. So the paint scraper doesn't do a very good job of getting that first layer of paint off, but once you get down to this really dry layer that's been here for 100 years, it does actually get this stuff off. So I still want to try to get down to as far down to wood as I can and get all this loose stuff off. Baseboard, it's not coming off like the door jambs, and I feel like the baseboards are more humanoid proof, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do as much scraping and sanding, and whatever comes off comes off. but I'm not gonna fight it, you know what I mean? These door jambs, or these door openings, I don't have to fight them. The paint comes right off. So that's what I'm getting at. If we have good adhesion, we have good adhesion. If I know there's no lead, I don't need to dig down there. So, and I don't like to assume either. So I test, you know, here, there, and everywhere, just to make sure. And it's now documented in my videos, just in case somebody in the future ever had a question. Hey, is there lead up there? No, and I have proof. All right, guys, I got everything sanded, looking good. There was a couple of spots that I needed to, they were pretty deep that I missed. There was a big hump right here in the wall that was, yeah, pretty noticeable. So I got the heat going, yeah, right next to this one, because this one was pretty deep. And yeah, we'll let that dry. And we should be able to start slapping some paint on the walls very shortly. But I just ran out to the mailbox, and guess what actually came? Like, I am shocked, to be honest. Yep, it actually came through. 4 months rent. Oh my god. It's still not working, but there's still $12,000 sitting in that account. So if we get behind again, I can just get another check until that account is empty. So we should be good through the winter, at least, anyway. You know what I mean? It gives me time. It gives me time. Hopefully I can blast through this 1-bedroom, rent this out, and move down. So we'll see. Oh guys, it's Sunday now. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Just got back from another side job in the south end of Boston. And it has been a long week. Judge me, I don't care. Well, that tastes really good today. Really good. So I figure, now that we got our sipping juice out. Oh my god. Look at the table. Yeah. I'm gonna sand these couple little patches. And I think we should coat the walls once. At least get that done today. And then after they're coated and dried, we should be able to see anything that we missed. We can do one more round of touch-up mud and then just finish paint all of this, caulk everything, and get the hell out of this room. So I came home today with a little bit of motivation, you know what I mean? So I went around and took care of all of the glaringly obvious spots. This weird hump in the wall that was right here, it was still, I don't know, still, you can see it shining through right there. So I kind of faded it out a little more. So hopefully it won't be noticeable. And our little patch job was wavy. So I straightened that out. Quickly primed the window and the door trim. First I did a scraping, and then I sanded everything with 80 grit. So I feel like if scraping and sanding with 80 grit doesn't take it off, it's not coming off. And then I blasted oil-based primer, stain blocking primer over all of it. And I cut a piece of trim for up here to cover that gaping hole that was there. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait for this stuff to dry for a bit. And I'm gonna mix up one last batch of Bondo and fill like that whole, you know, this mortise here. The door mortises need another coat of Bondo. All right guys, so I've been forcing myself to do like one little piece every single day if I can. You know, I feel like if I do that for the foreseeable future, this place will be nice eventually, you know? So I sanded today and I caulked everything. Caulked the window to the window trim to the wall so no cold air is coming through there. You know, I caulked the cable wire coming through the baseboard. I found insulation that I can get for around the plugs as well, which I might do on the exterior walls. I don't know, it might help a little bit. But honestly, this apartment's not so bad, you know? So I was talking to the kid at work that I've been trying to compare, you know, electric and gas costs with, because so he's in the city, and he's got an apartment below him. He's got and then is his apartment, and then he's got 2 apartments above him. So he's in the middle somewhere. It's not like he's at the top or at the bottom. He's in the middle somewhere. He's like in a sandwich, you know what I mean? So I was like, hey, what was your gas bill for last month, for the month of November? And he's like, I didn't turn it on yet because of last winter it was so bad, I just didn't use it. He's like, I just been using electric heaters. I'm like, well, okay, well, what was your electric bill then for the month of November? And he said $320. And we have similar square footage apartments, except his is more narrow and stretched out. Mine's more round and compact, I guess. But it's similar square footage. And yeah, he spent $320 just on electric. I had, for my electric, I had for this apartment and the common areas, because I have to pay for the common areas as well. It was $60 for the month, plus $30 in gas for the month of November. So under $100 for both, and he paid $320 just for electric. So I got what now, 3 coats? Yeah, this is the 3rd coat of primer, aka ceiling paint. But this is Sherwin-Williams from Lowe's, because they didn't have Kills the last time I went, so I got Sherwin-Williams. Not thinking, like, well, Kills is a stain blocker, so, you know, in the other rooms it looks, I mean, you tell me. That's Kills primer. That looks like ceiling paint to me. Instead of buying an extra gallon of ceiling paint, just primer, done. But I wasn't thinking clearly, because I forgot that real primer it's a little more watery and less opaque, so it doesn't cover as well. So it took essentially 3 coats. This is still drying, so it still looks splotchy, but it should be good. I put a coat on the trim, finish paint on all of the trim. And check this out. You see that spot right there? I coated that twice already. That's silicone. That's like a little film of silicone there. So it looks like I might have to put some oil base. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just put a little Quad Max over it. I have a little bit of water staining coming through right here. And over in this corner, I might have to touch up with oil base as well. And this is something that you're gonna get with when you do Quad Max and use the soapy water. If you don't take a wet rag and wipe the soapy water off the wall that dried to the wall, you see that? You see how it like bubbled? You know, it's like silicone. Paint doesn't like to stick. Paint doesn't stick to that soapy water. Paint doesn't stick to silicone. So you just gotta try your best to wipe off that soapy water. Yeah, we're looking good in here, man. Just gonna coat the, you know, spot prime this stuff. Second coat the walls, second coat the trim. We should be out of here. Because Duke wants his room back. Right, Duke? Yeah, I don't think he's feeling good today.
Are you not feeling good, kitty?
I don't think he's feeling good. I really don't, because he hasn't been up my ass all day. Well, guys, I apologize. You know, I got super impatient. You know, it's been a long couple of weeks for me. Came home last night, Friday, and I still had the energy, but I could feel the crash coming. So I wanted to just blast through this room. And I just wanted this room put back together, man, and be out of here. So, yeah, last night I was like a raped ape until like 9:30 last night. Just going to town in here. Ceilings, walls, cut everything in twice, rolled it, painted all the trim. A few touch-ups this morning, and then I put the room back together, cleaned it. And I wasn't sure. I went back and looked at the very first video clip just to see what the walls used to look like. I'm like, does this look better? I don't know. But once I saw the first video clip, I'm like, holy crap, this does look a lot better. Is it perfect? No. But I think this is within acceptable standards, rentable standards. You know what I mean? There was some big, ugly, like, just something going on there. That's taken care of. All the little holes and dips, and walls look a lot straighter overall. I mean, there's still little things here and there. Windows all caulked in. All of the gaps have been covered and caulked in. Yeah, it looks a lot better. All of that, like, peely paint is off. Phone cable's gone. All it would have taken was one kick from a kid, and that would have been on the floor. So it's good that we fixed that. Duke Mountain is back where it should be, so he can come in here and stretch his legs, so he's not a pain in my ass. Yeah, this is good. So now we got, we got the 3 rooms done now. We got the bedroom with the new door, that's done. Living room's done. Office is done. So now we can start to migrate this way. But I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks. And I'm probably gonna just start acquiring like shower valves, the epoxy, because we're gonna re-epoxy the tub. Start getting the tiles, maybe go build a vanity, get the top. You know what I mean? And get insulation. I just want to have like most of what I need here, and make sure we have some oh crap money put aside, so that, because we're going to run into stuff that we're not expecting once we got that, and I want to make sure that I can put it back together. But that will be coming very, very shortly, but not in a couple weeks. Probably a lot longer than that, but it's in the works. But anyways, that's it. See you later.